Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 10-Minute Trades Classroom, Master the Market Open, plus earnings and news reports. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Very important. Okay, I believe you can all hear me and I believe you can all see the screens. So we're going to get started right this minute. This morning, we have a lot to cover. We had a very enjoyable 3-day open house. We had lots of winners. We had a whole bunch of losers. But overall, the key is learning the best trades to take, the best accounts to trade in, and we're going to go over a lot of our setups. This is going to be like a super quick start, a super refresh. If you're a regular member, I'm going to go over tons and tons of important information. If you want to learn how to trade the market when the news is released, if you want to trade on a schedule, this is what we're going to talk about today. And I love teaching this. We always talk about why you should listen to me, why anybody should pay attention. I've been doing this for 10 years. I know how to trade the news. I know how to trade events. But even more important, I know how to teach you to do it. And that is my biggest goal. Even during this week, I had some trades that were losers, but members made money. It's very important, sometimes you'll have a fantastic winner and there will be an opportunity after the winner. We have tools that let you trade before and after losing and winning trades. And I want to show you all those tools. So let's get started. We have market open favorite setups. We have earnings favorite setups. Earnings season is not over yet. It's probably about 60% done. There's still some great events coming up. Palantir is this week. We haven't had Home Depot yet. We haven't had Broadcom. There's a lot of good earnings trades still waiting to be taken. I'm going to teach you our favorite news trades, breakouts, traps, ranges, reversals. We have a variety of different ways that we trade. It's not confusing because we go over it every day in the trade room. We trade a methodology. It's called appointment-based trading. It's important to understand that we use the NinjaTrader platform and we trade futures. Okay, so when we say we're trading earnings, we're not trading the stocks. We might be looking at the stock charts, but we're trading the futures charts because we invented a way to trade earnings using futures, and we're going to teach you that method. Love the graphics that our team created. That's gorgeous Netflix graphics. Very cool looking. Anyway, we have a system at 10-Minute Trades. We have our JOBB software, and we don't call it JOBB anymore. It's now called NewsTrader. And our NewsTrader software has range trades, it has breakout trades, but our system is really a variety of elements. These are the main elements that make up our trading system. We have the weekly market mover. That's a fancy way of saying we have a weekly schedule. We have daily market movers. No, that's not a daily schedule. That's a report that many of our events gets created for the event. So in other words, if we have a jobs report, very often we will create a daily market mover for the jobs report. We send the daily market mover because it's a PDF report. We send it the day before an event comes out, and it teaches our member how to trade that report. So some of our events get the DMM treatment, we call it. They get a daily market mover trade report. The other elements in our system, of course, the trade room, which is the key to everything. We do everything in the trade room. All the support, all the education, all the trading takes place in our trade room. And you can talk to each other in our trade room. You can post graphics. You can post your winning trade screens. The trade room is left open all week long. So even when we're not there trading, you can go there and talk to each other, share setups, trade events that we might not be trading that day, but we like to keep our trade room open so everybody has access to it all week long. Then, of course, we have our news trader software, the Magnet software. We actually have 3 strategies that make up our software. This is what the weekly schedule looks like. On the weekly schedule, all the way on the left is the time of the event. Then right next to that is if we have a trade room for that event, it shows you the time that our trade room opens. Then in the middle, the actual name of the event, the index we're trading or considering trading, what the possible risk might be. Hey, is there a DMM for this event? Our daily schedule will tell you. And then sometimes we have some notes, limited notes. There's not a lot of space on the weekly schedule. Anyone can have our weekly schedule. It's free. All you have to do is go to our website, www.10minutetrades.com, opt in for our free video, how to find your own 10-minute trades, and we'll start sending you our weekly schedule. Why should you care about the weekly schedule? Even if you're not a news trader, even if you don't trade the way that we trade, you want to know what's going on in the market during the week, because if you're in a gold trade and there's a report coming out that absolutely will move the gold market, you could glance at our weekly schedule. And if you happen to be trading GDP Wednesday morning at 8:30, you could see that there might be a report coming out that's going to move gold. So you might want to wait before you enter your trade until the news is over. Okay? So use the schedule as a way to keep yourself safe in these volatile, war-oriented markets. This is the daily market mover. The daily market mover, as I said, it's a report that we send to our members. It's a subscription only. We send it to our members the day before the event takes place. And the daily market mover has the name of the event, of course, the risk, the market we're considering trading. And you notice I'm saying considering. And that's why when we get down to everything that's super, super critical, trade room is the most important experience you're going to have in 10-minute trades. Because what if you're trading all by yourself? You don't know all the tools to use. You got our DMM the day before, but there's been a tweet or a comment made, and you're not aware because you don't have the tools that I'm going to teach you to use today. You could have a losing trade because you just went ahead and traded the way the report said to trade. It's not as simple as just doing what a report tells you to do. Trading is like a living organism. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but being a trader is analyzing the organism of life, the world, the war, the tweets, the comments by governments. It's all a constantly moving and being reshaped experience. You might expect to be trading gold when we get into the trade room, but maybe something happened just before we're getting ready to trade, making gold not safe. We might have to substitute gold for a different instrument. And that's why the trade room is so important. And that's why the tools that we're going to talk about today are so important as well. Notice that our DMM has a journal, a mini journal we call it. This particular DMM had 7 months of data. And it has text that talks about the event. And way at the bottom, it has a second possible setup. Some of our trades have more than one way that they can be traded. There's not just one way to take a trade on a news event. There are usually multiple methods that can work. How do we decide which is the best method? We test, and we test. Okay. Our software. 3 strategies make up our software. They're custom strategies, and they load into NinjaTrader. Our software has multiple setups. It can automate a trade. It can automate your targets. It could automate your stops. It could be completely discretionary. It could be semi-automated. We have a variety of different setups. Obviously, the choices are yours, whether you're going to be automatic or semi-automatic. It's going to always depend on the event you're trading and exactly what you're doing in the room at the time. So what do we mean that our software loads into NinjaTrader. So these are the real NinjaTrader live charts right at this very moment. It is lunchtime, not the greatest time to trade, quieter volume, less follow through on trades. But like I said, these are war-torn markets. Anything can happen to make the market move. However, our software installs into NinjaTrader, so it appears that it's part of NinjaTrader. You just right-click a chart, click the word strategy, and then across the left here, you can see our three strategies are listed. NewsTrader, which is what we used to call JOBB, the Magnet Strategy 2.0, and the Trap Trade. Those are our three main strategies. Within those strategies are other setups. So for instance, NewsTrader software. If you look at the top, it has something called the trade type. Breakout trade, range trade, reverse continuation. Three of our most common setups that we use virtually every day in the trade room. So those are the easiest setups to access. But that's one strategy, multiple possible setups. Also, there's an advanced trade type button. If you click that and check that button, and then look at the trade type, there's a whole bunch of other less common setups that we do sometimes use in the trade room. We have a manual reverse breakout. That's like a reverse breakout trade. We have zone trades. These are trades that some of them have not been used in years because some of them were actually designed for the pandemic trading. But many of our members like some of the old ways that we used to trade, and it's not that they're not current, but we have other ways that we're trading now, and we never take a feature out of the software. We just keep adding features in. So there are other ways to trade. It's not anything to worry about. The three main setups that we use in the NewsTrader software are the breakout, the range trade, and the reversal continuation. Then we have our magnet strategy. That's a whole system unto itself. We're going to get into that in a few minutes. And then we have our trap trade. The trap trade is a reversal strategy. As I said, we test every event that we're going to trade. So what does that mean? It means we go back and we either replay the trades using the market playback feature of NinjaTrader, or we have another method, a very easy method of understanding why a trade moves a certain way, how much it might move, how we create our own trades. We have a way to design our own trades. I'm going to show you how to do that today also. So put the time in today. Don't rush out. It's not going to be a 15-minute webinar, but I'm going to teach you a lot of great things about how to use our software to become profitable trading news events, earnings events, and fast-moving market setups. All right, so NewsTrader strategy, the magnet strategy, and the trap trade strategy. Let me show you the trap trade because I love the trap trade. And it's probably the setup that scares traders the most because in the beginning, they don't really understand it. But it's actually very easy to follow. So first thing, the trap trade is a trade that we know we're going to get a reversal. So watch this. If we put on a trap trade, it's because we are convinced that the event we're trading, it's not going to go straight up or straight down. It's going to have a reaction to the news, and then it's going to change direction. And we're going to make our money on the change in direction. So with a trap trade, our software puts 2 orders above the current price and 2 orders below. We call those orders tiers, T-I-E-R. Or you could call them brackets. Yeah, you could call them orders if you want. It doesn't matter. But the key is we have this orange arrow. That's the current price, the time that the orders were placed on the chart. And then in a trap trade, we have 1 order above the market, a second order above the market, and then the reverse on the downside. If the market goes up, we sell it. If the market goes down, we buy it. So we're trading in the opposite direction of the move, and we make our money when our reversal comes into play. So this was a news report, existing home sales. The news came out, and you could see the market went down. That red candle is the market movement. It put us into the market long. I expanded our stop a little bit because I felt very strongly that we were going to get a move to the upside on this trade. Existing home sales has been an excellent trade for us. And look, that one, it didn't work, but look what happened. And I wanted to show a trade that didn't work, but it really did work. The problem here was, and this is how we learn how to make our money, we realized that our stop was not big enough. The price went down, but look what happened after it hit the stop. It does a superb reversal all the way off the bottom, all the way back up to the top. So that's how you figure out, are your setups correct? Is your setup going to help you make money? By testing and going over setup after setup after setup, we create what we call a spike sheet, a report that shows us how existing sales moves on each spike. And we don't want to get spiked out. In other words, our stop needs to be bigger than the spikes. So we teach you how to create a spike sheet. I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit later. Right now, we're actually looking at real live markets. We have a reverse continue setup on our charts here. And just for fun, I don't mind taking a micro trade to show you how a setup works. So all I did to trade long was, we have a little box on the chart that put me in the market long. Now I'm watching this trade. I don't know for sure that it's going to be a winning trade. If gold keeps moving up, and it is very bullish today, there's a whole bunch of reasons why this could be a good trade. Look at the momentum down here on the squeeze. It's moving up. Also, the momentum is going up above the zero line now. I have a target here. I could even move my stop if I wanted to safety. I could bring my stop to break even. If the market reverses, I won't make any money. If the market continues up, it's going to hit my first target. Let me see if I can get it to do it. It'll hit my first target, and my stop will move to safety. Watch. So I moved my order. My stop went right to break even. So no matter what happens now, if the trade reverses, I can't lose money on the trade. So in our software, see what happened there? It changed direction, but I had a winning trade because my first target plus a little bit more because I was trailing worked. That's our reverse continue setup. It is a multitude of different ways you can trade with one simple setup. So let me explain it because it is one of our most important setups. It also takes about 2 minutes tops to set one up on the chart. So I'm going to remove the reverse continuation and show you how we put it on our charts. Now remember, the reverse continuation is part of our NewsTrader software. To access the software strategies, we right-click the chart, we click strategy, we double-click NewsTrader, and then we get our setups. Remember, we've got breakout trade, range trade, reverse continue. I'm going to click reverse continue. Now, everybody always gets scared when they see all these inputs. They go, I can't do that. It's too much to learn. But all you have to do is enter 1 or 2 items, label the trade, and that's it. So it's a reverse continuation. How many contracts do I want to trade? It's micro gold. I'll trade 2. 1 position, 2 contracts. How big do I want my target to be? Let's go for a 50-tick target. The market's volatile. How big should my stop be? Micro gold is $1 a tick. So let's use a 50-tick stop. That'll cost us approximately $50 per contract. We have a 2-contract trade on. I'm done setting up this trade except for one or two very simple things. I'm going to tell the software what account to trade in. It might be my prop account. It might be a funded prop account. It might be a sim account. I'm going to put it in a real prop account. We'll trade it in one of our regular prop accounts, which is what I was doing just a second ago. And we will label this trade MGC reverse continue. Why do we label our trades? Because on one chart, we will often have more than one way to trade, more than one setup. Then I will click the apply button, the OK button, and now on the control panel for NinjaTrader, I have a trade labeled MGC reverse continue. If I want to enable that trade and turn it on, I click the enable button, and there on my chart is the instant long, instant short button that you saw me use just a minute ago to take that profitable trade. If I don't want to use that setup or I want to remove it, I can uncheck it, MGC reverse continue, and I can right click and remove it. Or I could just leave it unchecked, not enabled, and then when I'm ready to trade it, I can turn it back on. Excuse me. What's so important about the reverse continue? It's a way of scalping as safely as possible. A reverse continue offers you an unlimited amount of opportunities to get into a trade. You can trade before a news report. Like, let's say you're waiting for a news report in the morning, or you're maybe waiting for the market to open in the morning, and you decide you want to enter the market before the news comes out, so you just turn on your reverse continue, click the button, either long or short, and you're in the trade. So you can trade before the news, you can trade after the news. Most of the common popular ways that we use this setup is after a news report. Let's say you had a fantastic report and you made a ton of money on a market open. All right, I had a market open this week where we traded the oil open. We used our breakout strategy to trade the oil open. I'll show it to you right here. So we have breakouts, reverse continues, and the range trade, all part of NewsTrader software. Those are the three main setups. I just showed you the reverse continue. For a second now, I'm going to show you the breakout or a spike trade. We put one order above the market, one order below the market. It could be multiple contracts, could be 3 contracts, it could be 4 contracts. And when the market moves, when the news is released, we get pulled into the market. This week, this might have been yesterday or the day before, I forget which day it was, but we traded the oil open at 9 in the morning, and the market opened. It filled us short. It hit our first target, moved our stop to safety, and then we trailed down and down and down and made some extra profit. That's all fine and dandy. That's awesome. A lot of times what will happen is the winning trade will end, and then you'll say to yourself, I really want to get into another trade because look at the amount of money that might be available if the market goes short for us here. I would like to get in and take a reverse continue in another direction. Look, for instance, right now, what if you decided this market is going to go down, down, down? I don't know if it is, but it's certainly, there is downward pressure. So you might use the reverse continue to take an instant short. Now, let me see if I could find, I have a very nice video that I was hoping it was right in front of me here. Let me grab it. A lot of times what we'll do is we will trade gold, trading it for a new low or a new high. So let's see what we got here. In this particular event, we were trading oil that morning, but after oil was done, we changed our charts, and if you notice, let me find the right chart. In the middle, if you notice, we had gold. and we changed our chart on gold, and the price went below our entry on a short. We are now positive. We now can take our stop and move it to safety and keep expanding our target and keep moving our stop in the direction of our profit. You can use the reverse continue to put on a trade. And if you get a little bit of analysis intelligence and analysis luck, because let's face it, there is a little bit of luck that comes into play. Our analysis was good. We felt that gold was going down. We were way past our target. We used a simple reverse continue to put ourselves in the market, and we kept trailing until the market changed direction and popped us out of the trade. And look, it's still going. We made almost $200 using micros on a reverse continuation trade. So one of the main purposes of the reverse continuation, you could trade it all by itself just as a trade, or after news, you can grab a trend in the instrument you were trading, or very possibly in a different instrument that offers the possibility of that setup working. So here's one of the things we always do. When we come into the trade room and we start setting up our charts, we take a regular chart that hasn't any setups on it yet, and we first thing in the morning, we put a reverse continuation setup on the chart so we can take a long or a short whenever we want. And we also put a magnet on the chart. That's what these buttons here are on the right. That's a magnet setup. Magnets I'll get into in a few minutes, but very simply, a magnet lets us trade around the high of day, low of day. That is a magnet. That's an area on any chart that attracts price. A magnet trade is a special setup that trades an exit at that level. There are very important levels, and again, I want to get into that in a few minutes when we get to that area of the slides. So reverse continue, trap trade, and breakout, believe it or not, I've already shown you 3 setups that are very, very important to the way that we trade. Let me show you one more time with different trades, similar setups. This is a breakout trade. One of our most popular, one of our favorite reports. It's a family money trade. It's one of the best setups. It's called the quarterly grain reports. We just recently traded it. It's a breakout. You notice there's orders above, orders below price. The price shot up. It's going to hopefully hit our first target. It does. The stop immediately goes to safety. It's break even. I can't lose. And then I move it up. The market pulled back, but we made a ton of money on that trade. That was an $1,100 trade. It was actually the middle chart that made the 1100. We made 375 on the corn chart. Same trade, different instrument on the middle chart, made $1,100. No joke. Breakout trade. That's a breakout. One of our favorites, and I promised that in this webinar I would reveal some of our favorite trades. Well, quarterly grains is a family money trade. That means I would trade my own family's money on that trade because quarter after quarter, it's a very effective trade. No trade wins every single quarter, but family money trades, more quarters than not, are profitable, and the potential for a good profit is there. I love the quarterly grains report. And then I want to find a nice trap trade for you so you could see a perfect winning trap trade. This week we traded consumer confidence. We made about $180 on the trap trade. But there was a previous trade in February that was a much better profit and a very good example when the market gives you a gift. So you don't get a gift from the market without having done some work to receive the gift, okay? We study CB, consumer confidence, or let's just call it consumer confidence. We've studied it for years. I've been trading this report. We know it has a history of reversing. We know that it's best to be traded with the trap trade. Why? Because the trap trade, if the price goes up, we're selling, we're going down. If the price goes down, we're going up. And this report often does exactly that. In February, our orders were on the chart. It already exploded down and it's already hundreds of dollars in profit. It's actually $1,000 in profit because it filled two of our orders. Gold is $10 a tick, so that's $20 a tick because we have two contracts. It immediately filled our orders and reversed. It's exactly what we want a trap trade to do, and it's exactly what we sometimes expect it to do. Now, you don't always get a miracle gift like that. Sometimes you have to wait for the reversal. What do? Get your stop to safety. If you get $1,000 on a trap trade, I'm going to move my stop pretty darn close to the current price and try and maximize that profit. That particular trade was a nanosecond winner because it reversed faster than the trade. It was almost as fast as the trade starting and then ending in a nanosecond. That's a perfect trap trade. It's like a breakout that goes 200 ticks, hits your targets, and the trade's over before you even blink. And that happens more often than you would think. We used to call those years ago a bread and butter trade. It was like a trade that just took place and was over before you even had time to say a word. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to our slides. So we have our three strategies with multiple setups in the strategies. You can automate, you can semi-automate, you can trade discretionary. You can trade the way that we trade in prop accounts. Many of our members are regularly getting payouts. Happens all the time. Appointment-based trading, it's a time-based approach to the market. The whole idea is you can schedule your trades generally up to a week in advance. So we know every week, remember, we have a weekly schedule. We know when we're going to be in the trade room up to a week in advance because we have this fantastic weekly schedule. We know that today or yesterday I was trading Apple earnings. I was trading natural gas yesterday. I was trading GDP yesterday. I know a week in advance what I'm going to be doing so I can have a schedule to maybe be in another trade room if I want to. Or I could have a full-time job and be a part-time trader. Our system is perfect for that because you'll know when your attention needs to focus on trading. Great software controls your risk. It allows for the safest setups available. And the key is trade the best performing events. There's three categories of events, and that's how we find our setups. High impact economic reports. Can you trade in a prop account? Absolutely. There are hundreds of trades within three categories that we test. Those categories are economic reports, GDP, jobs reports, bank statements, earnings reports, obviously, very simple, and market open and close. All right, every day we're in the trade room trading the market open on multiple markets. Some members trade the RTY, some members trade the YM, some members trade the MNQ. Those are the most popular setups that we're doing right at this moment. Some members are testing gold right now. All different things that we teach you how to do. Some of our members teach us some great things as well. Trading is too complicated. We hear this all the time. I can't do it. You have too many setups. There's no way anybody could learn this. Well, we try to make it as easy as possible for everybody to learn. Yes, trading is complicated. Anytime you're trying to take money from somebody, they're going to make it difficult for you to get the money. No one's going to hand you money and say, here, thank you, take my money. It just doesn't work that way. You got to put some time in. You've got to learn. Make it easy for yourself, though. And we want to make it easy for you. So when members sign up to join our service, we include with all our software a chart template. And our chart template makes setting up your charts like ours, it takes about a minute. Why is that important? We have a setup called the magnet strategy. And if your charts are complicated and you can't tell when signals are being generated or not being generated, you're not going to want to trade that way. And that really goes for any setup. Any setup, it's important to have clear and simple charts. Our charts, we have a very simple set of indicators that we use on our charts. We use the current day open, high, low. We put pivots on our charts. We put the VWAP on our chart. We put volume up and down, the net change display, and the squeeze. So why do we put the VWAP on the chart? Because traders love looking at the VWAP. They place their orders around the VWAP, and that creates opportunity around the VWAP being tested. And the same is true for pivots, and the same is true for the high and the low. The squeeze helps us determine if we want to take a trade. The net change display helps us determine if we want to take a trade. Volume can come into play. Look how easy it is to make your charts look like ours. If you take a brand new chart, go to New, go to Chart, choose an instrument at the top. All right, let's say we take Micro Gold because it's there. We don't have to change anything in the default, nothing. We tell everyone to check, make sure trading hours says use instrument settings, and make sure that days to load is 5 or less. Okay it, and you have a brand new blank chart that you haven't done anything with yet at all. Okay? Now, we include with our software a chart template. Where does the template go? What do you do with this template? What do you mean a chart template? It's a file, you download it, and you put it on your computer. Where are you going to put it? That's important. So on your computer, everybody knows with Windows that it looks sort like this, right? You're going to click your document folder. You're going to click NinjaTrader 8. You're going to click Templates. You're going to click Chart. Right in this folder, you're going to take our template, you know where it is on your computer, and you're going to paste it into this chart folder. Very easy. And of course, we're going to send you instructions in writing how to do that. Then when you create your brand new chart, notice there's nothing on it. There's no indicators. There's nothing, just price. You're going to right click. You're going to go down to template, and you're going to go load. And the magnet template is called Magnet 2.0. We tell you, of course, that's the name of our template. Load it. And now watch how long it takes me to configure my charts. I'm going to shrink down my volume a little bit. I'm going to shrink down my squeeze a little bit. I'm going to shrink down my chart a little bit so I could see more than I can see. And I'm going to hold my left mouse button. Whoops. Hold my left mouse button. And I'm going to tighten up the chart. Okay? See how I'm making it tighter? So it's not so wide. And now I can see everything. I can see the VWAP. There's the VWAP. I can see pivots. There's the PP pivot. The red line here, that's the low of the day. The green line here, that's the high of the day. All of our important pivots are on this chart. Everything that we use. You don't have to spend, but what did it take? 1 minute to configure that chart? It took me 1 minute. Your charts now look exactly like ours. We still teach you how to do it yourself because I believe very, very strongly you should know how to do everything by yourself because, one day Maybe we don't have internet, we can't get into the trade room, and there's some great opportunities you want to take advantage of. You don't want to have to depend on us all the time. If something comes up, things happen. You now know how to set up your charts in less than a minute. That's all it takes. You just need the template and you set up the charts. On the slides, I show you all the indicators that you need. Remember what we said? If you right-click the NinjaTrader chart and click on indicators, almost all the indicators we include, there's no charge for them. We've got the current open, high, low. All right, current day OHL. We have the net change display. And I'm not going to go through every one of them. Trust me, they're all configured. They're all there. They're all indicators. But one of them, if you're a lifetime NinjaTrader user, the order flow VWAP has one bit of customization that you can make to it. On the order flow VWAP, you're just going to make a slight change to the bands. So let me show it. You're going to change the standard deviation bands from 3 or 4, whatever the default is, you're going to set it to none. And what that does is it shows you the VWAP as a line rather than as zones. For what we do, seeing the VWAP in a magnet trade as a line is much easier than dealing with it as zones. So that is a piece of configuration that we teach our members to make. But that's how easy it is to create charts to use with trading the way that we trade. Simple and easy. So let's talk a minute about earnings trades and how we find them. All right. How do we find our profitable news setups? It's actually very similar to the way that we find our earnings trades. Well, all of our setups have calendars that we look at. All right. All of them. Our earnings trades have specific other things as well, in addition to the calendars. Now, I'll show you all the calendars. You've seen them a million times, any of you that have been here regularly. Most important calendar we use, or website we use for earnings, is earningswhispers.com. We go to earningswhispers.com literally every day to create our schedule. When you go to that website, across the top are the greatest hits, we call them. Next week or further out, we know that Palantir is coming out, NVIDIA is coming May 20th, AMD. You just hover over the greatest hits and it shows you when those particular earnings are coming out. Now, those are not necessarily the ones we're going to trade, because remember, we're testing the ones we're going to trade. Palantir we're trading, NVIDIA we're trading, AMD we're trading, but not always all of them, okay? If you know a symbol that you want to know when their earnings are coming out, maybe you want to trade Broadcom, and you know the symbol is AVGO, type it in, and you get Broadcom. It's coming out June 4th. That's next week. No, we're in May, sorry. We have another month for Broadcom. But it shows you the date it's coming out, the time it's expected, 4:15, and it shows you previous quarter. What time did Broadcom release their earnings? And it's pretty reliable if they weren't on time. So in other words, Broadcom is due at 4:15. If it says 4:16, 4:17 down there, then we have our radar up that Broadcom may not be reliable about the time that they release their earnings. We know that there are very important rules about earnings trade setups. There are requirements that a company has to have in order for us to be able to successfully trade their earnings. Number one, they need to have billions in revenue, and Earnings Whispers shows you the revenue. Number two, the stock price in general should be over $100. You don't want a $20 stock because it's probably not going to move the market we're looking to trade. Remember, we created an earnings trading system based on watching the stock price but trading futures. So if the futures don't move when the earnings are released, we don't have a setup. So we're testing, and one of the requirements that helps to move those futures are an expensive stock price. Also, we want a company that is weighted on the exchange that it's traded on. So, in other words, if you're trading Apple on the NQ, if Apple has no weight on the NQ, if it doesn't influence the NQ, the NASDAQ minis, then it's not going to move the NASDAQ. So you want to look and see, does a company have any weighting on the exchange you're trading it? And you can look it up. They have heat maps where it shows actually percentages, but generally we're doing all that work for you. In the beginning, you can come into our trade room, learn the setups, and then over time we teach you how we do it. You can't be expected to know in one day or in one week every single method that we use to vet these reports. And that's why the trade room is so important. We're going over the setups over and over and over every day. It sounds like it's boring, but it isn't. But it creates muscle memory where you know how to do a setup, a breakout after a week or two in the trade room. You know how to put on a range trade after a week or two in the trade room. Why? Because we're doing it every day. Every morning we set up an RTY range trade. Every morning we set up an MNQ breakout. Every morning we set up a magnet trade, more than one. So of course, come in the room, learn, do it with us. That's how you get good at it. EarningsWhispers.com shows us all the major elements that we need to use on an earnings trade. Price of the stock. The only thing it doesn't really show is the weight of a stock on an exchange. It gives us the date. It helps us with time. It shows us price. It even has a chart of their earnings and the way it behaved. So EarningsWhispers.com, fantastic website, one of the main tools we use. I also use Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is a charting package. You can trade on Thinkorswim if you wanted to. For $50, you can create a Thinkorswim account. We use Thinkorswim to watch the stock prices very often during an earnings trade. So this is what our trade room looks like when we stream it to you on an earnings trade. We're streaming a couple of different things. Thinkorswim has a news widget, and that widget shows us the time that the earnings are released. One of the tricky things about stock earnings trading is if there's no move in the stock that particular quarter, how are you going to know the earnings were released? You might not know because it's hard to find out and track everything. Well, with Thinkorswim having that account, using their little news widget, we can watch Intel on this news, and 95 times out of 100, when the earnings come out, the widget reliably lets us know. Also, Thinkorswim lets us look at stock prices before and after the market opens. All you have to do is keep $50 in an account to keep it live. That account, by the way, also lets you look at option pricing and futures pricing, stock pricing, all the normal things you might want to trade. So Thinkorswim is very important. TradingView, the free version. We can use TradingView to type in a stock symbol. One really nice thing about TradingView is when you type in the stock symbol, it shows you the exchange that that particular stock is most probably heaviestly traded on. So Intel, it's a NASDAQ stock. You might trade IBM and it's more of a Dow stock. So we might trade the YM for Dow earnings. TradingView is very helpful that way. It's a piece of information that saves us time by using free TradingView. You don't even have to pay for it. It gives us tremendous info, and TradingView very often, probably also 95% of the time, shows the stock movement right at the earnings. It's a great tool. We use it without fail every earnings trade. Also, there's a very nice website, not so much a website, NASDAQ.com has a great link for looking at the last 4 earnings that were released. I'll send you that link right now. I'll put it in the chat. It's a good link to just keep handy. And what that link shows you is the last 4 earnings dates of any symbol you type in. So let's say I want to know when Apple did their last earnings. So I type it in, I click, and then I scroll down, and it's going to give me the last 4 quarters Apple released their earnings. April 30th, January 29th, October. So why is that so important? Because otherwise you got to Google. It's not so easy and fast to find it. It's a time saver. We love time savers. So that particular link is very helpful. And then one of our favorite calendars and aids to trading in general is Financial Juice, the Pro version. The Pro version gives you the ability to get a news calendar, and that's how we find all our news trades using Forex Factory, Investing.com, TradingEconomics.com, and FinancialJuice.com. Those are 4 calendars we use to find our news trades, to create our schedule. But the best thing that I love the most about Financial Juice is their news squawk box. The Pro version, it's about $50 a month. You can listen to the news in your headset. We love that feature because while I'm trading, I'm hearing news results and it helps me to decide how I might manage the trade. So we love financialjuice.com for their squawking news box. Where do we find our news trades? Our news trades are easy. We find them on the various free calendars. ForexFactory.com. Click the word calendar, and it gives you a full week of events. We have vetted almost all of these events. We know what the best ones are to trade. That's calendar number 1. We love Forex Factory. Investing.com. If you were at our open house this week, you saw how we use Investing.com to become a part of our charts. We go to Tools. We go to Economic Calendar. Click on Economic Calendar. Then it'll actually scroll to the most current report that's coming up, which is pretty cool. I like that feature. But it also will show you a week's worth of data this week or next week. You could create custom dates. But this is one of the ways that I start to create a new schedule. I go through the events. They have a star system. 3 stars is an important event. 2 stars is medium. 1 star less. So investing.com, not only does it help us to make our schedule, but we can shrink it down, and then we can add this to our charts, and it becomes a part of our charts. So let me show you, for instance, if we're trading a New Zealand report. Let me see if I did it on this video. It's a little bit hard to see, but down here at the bottom, and it's being blocked by something, but I've got the news from investing.com so that everyone can see it. It just happens to be blocked right now, but trust me when I tell you, we're using investing.com, a shrunken little version, to watch the news as we're trading the news. And it's this size. We shrink it and we put it in with our charts because it releases the news in real time. So investing.com, great calendar. And then a third calendar that we use a lot, tradingeconomics.com. One nice thing that I like very much about that calendar, they show grain reports. Family Money Trade Quarterly Grain Report, for instance, WASDE report, the Crush report, right? We have a whole bunch of grain reports. NOPA Crush, they show up on tradingeconomics.com. So every tool that we use that's free, we teach you how to use them in our trade room. We make sure you know how to access them. And that's the whole deal about finding, and then we start testing the trades. What triggers an earnings trade? What triggers a news trade? It's very simple. When the news is released, it makes the instrument that we're watching move, and then our setup, the orders that we place on the chart, right? They get filled. So for instance, this week I traded the oil inventory report in our open house. It's a breakout trade. It's a spike trade, all right? When the news comes out, right before 2 seconds, our software puts the orders on the chart. The news came out, and usually oil is a pain in the neck. This week, oil was great. Oil can be a pain in the neck on the storage report because we know it doesn't always follow the technicals. Meaning, if there's way less oil around than we think, it doesn't always go up in price, which it should. And if there's way more oil around, it doesn't always go down in price, which it should normally. This week, there was way less oil than expected. It followed the technicals, hit our first target for an immediate profit. Stop went to safety. I expanded our target to the high of day. Remember, the high of day is a magnet. Price tends to go there. It went there, and we had a bigger trade than normal. So that's what triggers earnings trades, news trades, every trade that we take almost is triggered because a news event is released, a news data event takes place, the data comes out, and it's different than the data that's expected. We call that difference the offset, the news offset. The bigger the offset, the bigger the possible reaction to the news. The smaller the offset, the smaller the reaction. Not always, but that's a rule you can keep in the back of your mind. So if there's a gigantic amount of oil available, more than what they expected, there is a possibility oil will go down on the report. Just like what happened this week, there was quite a bit less around and it caused the price to jump. Even though oil was already $5 bullish, it was a little bit less because it's already up at the high. That's why the trades that we take move. Now, just talking about a few of our favorite earnings trades. Just because Apple didn't work yesterday, and it didn't work for me, but actually some of our members made money on Apple. I had a bad fill. We could talk all day about prop account trading and the data feeds, but I don't want to do that. Prop account trading is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to trading because you can rent the ability to become a trader for $20 a month. You don't have to put $5,000 or $10,000 in a brokerage account anymore and learn trading by losing your money. You can rent a prop account for $20 a month and learn everything you need to know about trading. You could then subscribe to our service, get our software, join our trade room, put it all together, and you can learn to trade without endangering real money. And if you get good at it, you can take money from the prop account companies. And I promise you, I guarantee you, people take money from the prop account companies. But sometimes there are data feed problems. It's probably because so many people are trading this way now. 90% at least of the people that we see are trading prop. We still have some great cash traders in our room. And when it comes down to it, cash is the best because if you can afford to trade cash, you don't have any rules except your own that you have to follow. When you're a prop trader, they're not going to pay you money unless you trade following their rules. And that's important to understand. So you rent the prop account, but you're also renting a set of rules. However, that's not what the main thing is I was talking about right now. I was talking about a few of our favorite earnings trades. Just because we didn't make a ton of money on Apple this quarter doesn't mean Apple isn't still a favorite. It'll still be a favorite for me. And I'm sure it's a favorite for Nitin because he made over 800 bucks on Apple, and that's his screenshot. So thank you for that, Nitin. United Health, one of our favorite earnings trades. United Health has been an excellent earnings trade quarter after quarter. Of course, I could say it 1,000 times. Every single quarter won't be a winner, but people are always asking me, hey, when's United Health? When's United Health? Amazon, another favorite earnings trade. When Amazon trades by itself or when Amazon trades with just one other company, it's a very solid earnings trade. It moves the market. It could move the market easily, 150, 200 ticks. We know when Amazon comes out, they follow the rules. Amazon, look at that move. That was a $500 Amazon trade. Now, and even though that's an old trade, Amazon still trades almost exactly the way it trades in 2022 is the same way it trades now. That was actually two trades. We caught a short and we caught a long and made $2,000 on that trade. Home Depot is one of our favorite earnings trades. One of our members in the UK made 100 bucks on micros trading Home Depot early in the morning. That's a 6 a.m. trade that we take. Microsoft has been an excellent earnings trade. We passed an eval last quarter just trading Microsoft. It literally passed our eval in one trade. Now, I don't think I have that video. I think most people know me that I don't make up stories. I know you believe me when I tell you I traded Microsoft. I passed an eval on that trade. Intel, another favorite earnings trade. We've had some excellent Intel earnings trade. It was one of our best trades of the week last week or the week before. This, I believe, was the trade. Yeah, it was April 23rd. Big explosion in Intel. Look at the stock move. It was accompanied by a big move in the futures. And on the breakout, we made over $475 on that trade in a second. It wasn't like a 2-second trade. It was 1 second. There's our orders. The news came out. We know when Intel releases their earnings. They're very reliable about it. Well, that was a winning earnings trade. A standard, typical breakout. A breakout trade takes about 2 minutes to create a breakout trade and put it on a chart. Let's say news is coming out right now. We're going to make believe. News is coming out right now. We're looking at micro gold and you want to create a breakout. So maybe you think we have a clock, all right? A very important trading tool. We give it to all our members. It's free, all right? It's called Topmost Clock. Let me grab it because I'm going to give it to you. It's one of our favorite free tools because it keeps us safe. We know what time everything is. I know that sounds stupid, but it's not stupid. It's so important to know exactly to the second what's going on. And it's important to know, is your computer in proper time sync? What if your computer is not in time sync and your trades aren't trading at the right time? I'm sending you 2 links. One of them is to install the clock, and the other one is to make sure that your trade computer is in sync. You go to the website time.is. It checks your computer to see if your computer is in sync. Just like this. If your computer is not in sync when you go to time.is, it'll tell you you're 3 seconds behind, or you're 2 seconds not behind, ahead, whatever. And then we have that little tool that I just sent you, Dimension 4. You run that program, click Sync Now, and it puts your computer in sync. The proper way to use it, open a new fresh browser after you update your sync. to check going back to time.is using a fresh browser. That helps you to put your computer in sync. Because remember, some of our trades, we're putting in the time 8:29 and 59 seconds. If you're 4 seconds out of sync, you could miss the trade, or you could trade at the wrong time and it could screw up your trade. You want to be in sync. So let's say we're making believe there's a news report coming out and we want to set up a breakout trade. Right click the chart, click the word strategies, double click news trader. Default is breakout. So right now it's 1 o'clock. Maybe we're going to set up a breakout trade for 1:02. All right, so it's 24-hour time. So our breakout is 13:02. All right, 00. We have a bracket. How many ticks above and below the price do we want our orders placed? 30 ticks above and below. How many contracts and positions do you want to trade? One position, one contract. So position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. What's your stop? Maybe I have a 50 tick stop. That's 95% of my whole breakout is set up. Scroll down. What account do I want to trade it in? Sim for now. All right. And remember, I label every trade. So we're on micro gold chart. So it's a micro gold MGC breakout. Apply it. Okay it. Put my chart on Sim because the software, we told the software, the account we're using is Sim. Now, our trade shows up on the control panel and it's labeled. It has a name, MGC Breakout, BRK. When I want to turn that trade on, all I do is enable it. I turn it on, and at 13, what time did I say I wanted to trade that report, that breakout? I highlight it, 13:02. We're at 13:07. So it's going to trigger our trade immediately. Why? Because time has passed. We're past 13:02. So watch what happens. Put my orders, get ready. I spread my chart so my orders aren't all scrunched up. Turn on the breakout. There's my orders. There's my orders. If the market explodes to the upside, it's going to fill me long. If the market explodes to the downside, it's going to fill me short. Very easy. Now, some people don't like this vertical line that our software puts on the charts. There's a reason for it. But you can right click, highlight the breakout trade, which I'm doing right here, go to optional and just show the vertical line, uncheck it so it doesn't show it, apply it, okay it, turn it back on. Bingo. No line, so it's a little bit clearer and cleaner, easier to use. Notice our clock is there. We know what time our orders are supposed to be on the chart. If you make a mistake, no orders show up, you can cancel your trade. Uncheck it. MGC breakout. And if you label it, you're not going to cancel the wrong trade. Maybe you're in a winning trade and you canceled the wrong trade. You don't want to do that. All right, let's keep going here. So, favorite earnings trades. All of those, we still love them. Let's talk about the market open. Now, look, we had some difficult market opens this week, but we also had 2 days in a row where every single market open trade we took in our funded accounts made money. The RTY had 2 winners in a row. The MNQ, actually the MNQ worked 4 out of 5 days this week. And the YM magnets, 4 out of 5. We had a bad magnet today. But overall, our market opens have been working really well. Just because you have one bad day isn't going to negate 4 months of market opens. You can't let a couple of bad trades destroy your whole psychology. So our favorite opens are as follows. Let me show you a couple of our favorite market opens. Number 1, we love the RTY. We love the RTY open. The RTY Open is a 5-minute range trade. After 5 minutes, what happens? The range is calculated and an order above the range, number of ticks above the range is 6, and then 6 below the range, our orders show up on the chart. There's the X's. That trade just won because it went through all our orders. That trade's over. It took a second. Our RTY trade has been fantastic for our funded account. Watch it win. Bingo. That's a winning trade. We teach you exactly how to set that trade up in our trade room. We start the trade at 9:29. We end the trade, 9:25. We end the trade at 9:30. We have 2 positions, 1 contract each position, 10-tick target, 20-tick target, and a 35-tick stop. When it hits our first target, we can move our stop to safety if we want to. But that is one of our openers that we love. We also have an opening breakout trade. We've been trading the MNQ. Many members are trading the NQ. Some members are trading gold. Some members are trading silver for a while. Currently, we like the MNQ. It's low risk. It's easy to set up, and it just has been working for months. It's had a couple of difficult weeks. Every opening setup that you ever deal with will go through some inconsistency. And you've got to not panic when things are inconsistent, especially if they've been very reliable. It is true that sometimes a trade will stop working. We had an oil market open trade, a range trade. It literally stopped working. We've been trading the breakout on the oil open. I've been testing it for the past couple of weeks, and it's starting to behave better. So we'll probably start trading the breakout. Also, we teach our members how to use micros on risky trades. So if you could take part and take less risk until we're more comfortable that the event is worth trading with more risk, with bigger size contracts. In other words, NQ is more risk than the MNQ. The number of contracts also. You want to be intelligent and careful about the number of contracts you trade. The best of the best of performing events, you'll use more contracts. So when a trade starts to lose money, you cut back. You don't automatically stop trading it because, especially at the open, there can be inconsistency. And that's just part of trading the open. If a trade stops working, trust me, we will know it because we'll know in the trade room that it's just not working. We track everything that we do. This was a market open trade on the MNQ. It literally worked instantly. Look how fast it worked. They don't all work quite this fast, but sometimes they can. So it's a breakout trade. We put our orders on the chart using a 35 bracket. We have targets of 30 and 100. And currently we use a stop of 125. Probably going to make a small adjustment to this trade next week because one of our members, who I talk to all the time about different setups, I am not embarrassed to say that if a member says to me, hey, I think you should test or look at using a slightly smaller bracket on this setup, sometimes the member is right and we'll adopt that setup. There's no ego in trading. You've got to be open-minded. I don't care if one of my setups wasn't designed by me. All we care about is that the setups we're using and teaching are making money. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter whose ego designed it, who found it. That stuff is meaningless. One of the greatest parts of trading with us is being part of our community. We have really nice people who are constantly sharing their setups. Watch this MNQ setup. If Calvin didn't bug me nonstop to start trading the open, we probably wouldn't be trading the opens. He bugged me. He kept saying, hey, start trading the opens. They're working for me. MNQ is an excellent market open to trade. NQ, good market open to trade. Certainly, I would promise you could probably find a setup for the ES, and I'm sure you could find the YM. We do the YM as a magnet, and we love magnet trades. So let's spend a couple of minutes on magnet trades because it's a key way that we trade nowadays at 10-minute trades. Very quickly, what is a magnet? So the best way to show you is actually, rather than explaining what a magnet is, let me show you a magnet trade. So you saw how to put levels on the chart using our template, right? It was easy. Took a minute. But those orders, those levels, the pivots, the VWAP, the PP, the high of day, the low of day, high of day, red low of day. Those are levels on the chart that attract price. Dozens and dozens and thousands of traders put their orders at those levels, around those levels. Every chart that you look at tests those levels throughout the day, throughout the week, every day, every week. Levels are being tested. Common levels are the levels we test, and our trade setup is a setup that exits. The concept of the magnet is we're going to exit when we get to the magnet, when we get to that level. When we get to that high a day, we're getting out. Also, our magnet software has a whole built-in signal system for taking reversals at the magnet. And we're working on that. That's a progress, a setup in progress. Signals are never perfect. You need to understand when it's best to take signals. But many of our signals are phenomenal. And members are learning how to analyze the signals and when to take them. But a magnet, watch here, our magnet software can be automated, or it could give you a heads up. Here comes a magnet. Press this button to enter the trade. Right here, we're trading micro gold. It's getting ready to make a new high. That thick green line is our long order. That line is adjustable by you. You can put it anywhere on the chart. Gold is a great magnet. It loves testing highs and lows. We get entered into the market. It's now moving towards the high. And unfortunately, I didn't keep recording, but trust me, it went through the high, exploded through that high, and we got a profit when it hit that target. Let me show you one that where you can actually see it. I like that particular trade because it's real clear on what the magnet is. Here is a YM magnet. We were going the opposite way. We're testing the low. Already short, okay? I'm already short. My goal is to test the low. That's my exit. I'm exiting at the magnet. It's a little one, okay? But little, big, medium, money adds up. We test the low. That's a profitable trade. That's a magnet. I'm going to show you a couple, all right? Let me grab another one. We trade any instrument can be a magnet. That's the key. You like trading the YM? The YM can be a magnet. You like trading micro gold? Micro gold is a magnet. All right, let's see which chart is going to be our magnet. Look all the way on the right. Trading micro gold, looking for a test to the high. The thick line is our order. There it is. It explodes through the high. That's our magnet. That's what a magnet trade does over and over and over and over and over. They happen over and over and over. I'm not joking. They work on any chart that you like. If you want to trade the ES, believe me, the ES has plenty of magnets. You want to trade the euro? The euro has plenty of magnets. We've explained what the reverse continue is. What is targeting? So let's get back into the magnet a little bit more. When you turn on the magnet software, all right, we get our buttons. Let's use the chart on the left, okay? So we have a micro gold magnet setup. When I turn it off, my control panel goes away. When I turn it on, I get my control panel. I can use the control panel to target different levels. So the high of day is this green dashed line, dotted line, and the low of day is the red dotted line. Also, we've got the VWAP. PP is a magnet, S1 is a magnet, previous open is a magnet, and we can target all of those levels. My favorite magnet and my favorite signals are high of day, low of day. So when we turn on the magnet software, we can turn it on so that it looks at the high of day, low of day. Down at the bottom here, I just click high of day, low of day, and it puts my order near the high of day and near the low of day. And notice I can move that order just by holding the mouse and dragging it. That is the power of the magnet trade. It is so powerful because you determine where your entry is. Of course, the software will put magnets on the chart close to where the high of day or low of day is, if that's the target you're using. What if you want to target the VWAP? What if gold really starts selling off? And we're talking in this trade room, this class, and we notice the VWAP looks like gold's going to go there. Look how easy it is for me to test the VWAP, target the VWAP. First off, I could do a real quick VWAP, move my low of day order above the VWAP. That's a short order because it's testing the low of day. So price is going to go short at this level here. I could use that order to test the VWAP. It'll enter before it gets to the VWAP. But if you use the low of day order, you don't want to forget that your target is the low of day target. The right way to do it is to change your targeting. So instead of high of day, low of day, I click on manual entry price and I click on target the VWAP. Then I just, wherever my order line is, I place it where I want to get filled, knowing it is going to be a short trade into the VWAP. We also have a test for the previous open. That's this line here. I can change my targeting in a second. Day open. And I would move my order approximately there. I can check my entry by hovering over the magnet entry box. And it shows me my target. My target is 3 ticks away from the magnet. And it shows me my entry. If I move the line, it moves my entry. The target's the same. It's 3 ticks away from the magnet. How do I know? Because when we set up the magnet, you have control over that. Click Strategy, highlight the magnet, and the way you set up a magnet trade is actually very easy. Now, we know how important the reverse continuation setup is. It's a critical setup that we teach our members. When we designed the magnet trade, the original version, it did not have the reverse continue in it. When we released Magnet 2.0, we added reverse continuation to the magnet trade. So you can have a complete trading setup if you just are a magnet trade subscriber. All pro members that subscribe to our service get all the strategies. The only time someone might not have all the strategies is if they didn't buy the previous strategies. So, for instance, we have a lifetime software license. If you only bought the magnet trade, you wouldn't have been able to do reverse continuations until we updated the strategy. Now, because we've updated it, it's a full-blown system that lets you take advantage of what's become one of our favorite setups, the reverse continue. It's such a good way to make money on a scalp, on a trade where you lost money, on just a trade where you made money and you want to make more. We wanted to make it part of the magnet setup. So from inside the magnet configuration, you could simply set up a magnet trade, and the default is 3 ticks away from the magnet. That's the default target one. So if you put a 2-contract trade on, it's automatically going to exit 3 ticks away from whatever price you're targeting. You can also set up a custom price. Any price you want can be a magnet. We have a custom trading methodology in the magnet. So if you look at a special indicator that you like that's unique to you, you can use your indicator and set up magnet trades. Any price can be used, any custom. So you can set up the magnet as a custom setup or use all of our built-in targeting. Our standard trade would be a 1-position trade, 3 ticks from the magnet, and you put in your own stop. Whatever size stop you put it in. That's all there is to it. High of day, low of day magnet. I have 1 position, exit 3 ticks before it gets to the magnet. My stop is 50. And then I could ignore all the other setups and just tell it what account to trade in, label it, apply it, and okay it, and we'll have a magnet set up. Watch what happens. I've just configured the high of day, low of day. When I turn it on, it places my orders in a close proximity to the high or low. My analysis might make me want to move them. That's why it's so important to be able to move those orders. People analyze the charts, and it's important to be able to place orders where you think is the best place. So our magnet gives you all that flexibility. If I turn off the trade, I can also program the buttons. Look at the control panel. We've got these extra buttons. ARS enter now. What the heck is that? Reverse continue long, reverse continue short. What's that? I already got a reverse continue long, instant short right here. They're the exact same thing, but they're built into the magnet. So if you use the magnet trade to do your reverse continues, you don't need the one that's separate. I like separate, but as I said, we wanted the magnet software to be complete. So you can program the ARS enter now, that's our signal system, or you could program the reverse continue long button, reverse continue short button. You can also trade a signal just using the reverse continue. So there's more than one way to trade the exact same setup. To set up the trade inside the magnet software is very easy. Highlight the magnet, and if I want to set up the magnet so I can use the buttons. Now, one important thing. Notice I had the magnet trade running on my control panel, and when I went to highlight the magnet, everything's grayed out. I don't see anything. It's because the trade's enabled and I didn't turn it off in the control panel. Well, I can turn it off inside the software. There's an enabled button. All right, I uncheck it, hit apply, and now I can see all the items that I need to see. If I want to program the reverse continue button, I just tell it here how many positions, what's the target, what's the stop. Do I want to do a break even if the first target gets hit? I can do that. So that's programming the long and short button. I can also program the ARS button. What's ARS? I'll show you. It's when we get a signal. ARS management, aftershock reversal system, aftershock reversal squeeze, whatever you want to call it. ARS, we call it. If I get a signal and I want to use the button, I need to tell the button how many contracts, what's your target, what's your stop. I can do a 2-position trade on the ARS enter now button. So let's say you turn on the magnet, MGC magnet, right? Turn it on. Right now I don't have any signals. If it were trading and it generated a VWAP signal or a high of day, low of day signal, because those are the signals we're generating, the ARS enter now button would become active. It only becomes active when there's a signal. Like here's a signal. That was a short signal, all right? At 10:15 this morning. This was 2 long signals at 9:50 this morning. When those signals took place, the ARS enter now button became activated. And if you press it, it would have taken the trade just how I set it up just now, all right? You can do the same thing with a reverse continue. You can trade the reverse continue anytime you want. That's the nature of the reverse continue. All right, so you can target any area in a second. We also have an ARS standalone signal. Those are signals that generate anytime there's a momentum change. We also have ways to filter those signals. Don't have enough time to get into filtering today, but those are things we talk about in our trade room. We're teaching all day long, really. Whenever we're in the room, it's not all day, but it's whenever we're in the room, we're constantly teaching. So targeting is really easy with the magnet. Look how price is going to the morning open. Put it on manual entry price, target the day open. Look, it just got there. It just got there. I'm not going to take the trade because I notice it's in my real account. And I'm not trading my real account right now because we're in the middle of this webinar. All right. But it's also why you want to pay attention when you set up your trades and put them on the control panel. I happen to see where I'm trading that. Okay. If I trade it in my sim account, let's change it. Highlight the magnet, put the account on sim. Notice how it blinked, right? It blinked because the price got to our entry. Now it pulled off the entry, so it's not blinking anymore. If the price goes down again, it'll make an audio sound and it'll blink. And if I press the button, it puts me in the trade. All right? That's targeting. And you can target all our pivots and levels. Very simple, really. And then I've already explained the range trade. The range trade, you have a start time, an end time, and ticks above the range. Remember I explained the RTY. We start the trade at 9:25. We end it at 9:30:00. And we have X ticks above the trade, the range, X ticks below, and we had a target of 10 and a target of 20. When the range is done calculating, what happens? When the range is done calculating, it puts the X's, the orders, on the chart. And it puts the order on the chart 6 ticks above and 6 ticks below the range. If you want to put your order on 20 ticks above and 20 ticks below, you can do that. It's all about testing. All right? If your testing shows that you have better results with more ticks, you use more ticks. That's the beauty of testing. All right? Design your own trades, and then we're almost done. This is a lot, folks, and I really appreciate you sticking with me. This is a lot of info. Designing and testing your own trades is probably the most important thing you can do to help yourself become a profitable trader. And you need virtually no tools. You need the pencil and the ruler our good clock, and NinjaTrader Playback. All right? That's all you need. I'm going to teach you how to create a spike sheet. All the spike sheet is, it's an Excel sheet, and all we're tracking is the previous news release and how much it spiked on the release. And you'd make a little sheet showing you so you can analyze it easily. Consumer confidence on the MNQ. In March, it spiked 60 ticks. February, 100. January was a whipsaw. December, 100 ticks. You get the picture. Consumer confidence on the MNQ. All right? We created a spike sheet. Breakout. On the ES, look at the ES. We're not trading it on the ES. It stinks. It's lousy. And we also create trap trade spike sheets. They show the reversal. Let me see if I have a trap trade spike sheet handy easily. I do. So we had a CB consumer confidence trap trade spike sheet. What we're looking at is it spiked 52 and it reversed 92. That's beautiful. That's why we like consumer confidence with gold as a trap trade. That was March. In February, it spiked 85. It reversed 103. You get the picture, folks? So how do you create this? How do you do that? It's so easy. Let's say you're watching your trades, okay? So let's say let's look at a full-size gold chart. I'll tell you what, we're looking at micro gold this morning. And let's make believe that this candle is our trade candle. Make believe that's your trade candle. Look how easy it is to create a spike sheet. There's a tool called the pencil. It's right at the top of your chart. Click it. Click the ruler. Click the candle, top to bottom. In this case, I'm going to click it from top of the green candle next to it to the bottom. That candle moved 89 ticks. All right? It moved up before it moved down. That's most probably what that wick is. So it actually moved twice. All right? And there's ways you can do a deeper dive than what I'm showing you right now. This is a poor man's spike sheet. You want to do deeper dives. Sometimes you want to do a replay if you're not sure if it moved up before it moved down, okay? Because maybe pencil, remember, ruler, click the area you're starting to measure, click the area you're done measuring. So that was only 10 ticks. I don't care much either way if it went down or it went up or it didn't do anything. 10 ticks, it's important for us to know that it was 10 ticks. Probably what happened on this candle, probably 90% certain, is it dropped from the top to the bottom of the candle. Ruler, pencil, ruler, click the left mouse, click the left mouse at the bottom of the candle. We have a 100 tick move. That's our spike move. That goes onto your spike sheet. How do you know it's the trade candle? If we have a 1030 trade, if you use a 1 minute chart, use the candle just after 1030. The first candle after 1030 will be your trade candle on a 1 minute chart. So look, here's a perfect, maybe earnings were released this day at 11:50 in the morning. So we have a candle right after 11:50, pencil, ruler, top of the candle, bottom of the candle, 140 ticks. That's my spike. All right. Then, if I'm creating a trap trade, here's the rule with our trap trade. A trap trade is two positions, right? Two tiers. We put price above and price below the current market price. So let me just remind you, let me show you a trap trade one more time, but a slow one and not even necessarily a good one. I just want to show you a trap trade so you understand. We have two orders. When an order is filled, that second order plus the size of the stop is going to be how many ticks you have of safety. So let's say, for argument's sake, your second order is 50 ticks and your stop is 50 ticks. That's 100 ticks. If your spike sheet shows 130 ticks last month on the spike, it's way bigger than safety on your trap trade. 100 would be safe. So you know how big your brackets have to be. Your brackets have to be big enough to survive the stop and the spike. Okay? Your tiers, your orders have to be big enough to survive the spike and the stop. So you have to keep your stop in mind, but it's very easy. If all of your spikes are between 40 and 50 ticks, you can put a trap trade, 35 on tier 1, 50 on tier 2, a stop of 20, 50 plus 20, order 2 plus your stop is 70 ticks, well within safety. If all your spikes are 50, no greater than 50, if your second tier plus your stop is 70, you've got 20 ticks of zone of safety, your zone of safety. 20 ticks, that's plenty. It's plenty. So that helps you design a trap trade. You don't want to make your orders so big that you never get filled, right? So that's why we create the spike sheet. On a breakout trade, when we have a spike sheet, it's very similar, but a tiny bit different. We're looking at different things on a breakout. Let me show you a breakout spike sheet. Let me grab one. It's a very simple concept, though. Very simple. So I'll show you our Australia. Nope, unfortunately, it's a trap. Let me show you consumer confidence. I wanted to show you a couple of different ones, but it's okay. So here's consumer confidence again. On the MNQ, it spiked 60 ticks. It spiked 100 ticks. It whipsawed. That was a loser. It spiked 100. It spiked 120. It spiked 30. But that was 5-6 months ago. So we're going to use 5 months of testing to help us. 5 months of testing to help us, okay? To set up a breakout trade. We know that our smallest spike was 60. Our biggest move was 60. The smallest was 60. Our biggest was 120. We also look at the bracket. We look at, did the price whip during the trade? Like right before the news comes out, there might be movement in the index, right? How many ticks did it move? Did it move 30 ticks? Did it move 20 ticks? That's how you determine the size of your bracket. There could be a mini whipsaw within the 30 tick bracket, okay? But you want to also think of two things. Your bracket might be 30 ticks. In this trade, the bracket's 40. If the spike was only 60, that does not leave us a lot of profit. So we want to see 100 ticks, 120 tick moves for a 40 tick bracket to be viable, to get a profit. All right? But you want to also know for sure, did this spike sheet calculate after the bracket, or is that including the bracket? Okay. When we make our spike sheet, we make sure we know how much movement was there in the first couple of seconds. Our orders are on the chart if it doesn't fill instantly. You want to survive movement before the fill. Okay? That's how you create spike sheets. It's not complicated. You look at your movement, you use your ruler, you use your pencil to measure. And you can measure over time, right? 67 ticks there over about 15 minutes. The other important, design your own trade, very important, is playback. And I have 100 webinars on how to do NinjaTrader playback. But I promised I would show it. It's going to take 3 minutes, and then we're going to wind up. All right? We have done a lot. To do NinjaTrader playback, you disconnect all your connections, everything. If you have a million connections, you just disconnect them. Doesn't matter if they're running. As long as you're not in a trade, you can disconnect. As long as you don't have any orders set up in any markets, make sure, obviously, if you disconnect, you don't have any orders set up. Then you could download data. So let's say, we want to rerun we want to play back this morning's ISM manufacturing trade. So we're going to go to Tools, Historical Data. We're going to download this morning's data on the instrument we want to trade, we want to test. So let's download the ES because we traded the ES. Today's date is May 1st. That's the date we're using. And we're going to download the ES contract, ES 626. Click download. It's done. We downloaded today's ES data. And maybe you want to test 10 o'clock today. So put your chart on the ES 0626. Look at that. But that's not live, so don't get carried away. And then we're actually going to connect to the playback server. You have to download the data before you connect to the server. Now go to Connections and click Playback. Click Continue. And it opens up a little tape recorder. This controls our playback just like a tape recorder. Put the date in that you want to test the trade. Today's the 1st. That's the day we're testing a trade. If it was May 1st, April 1st, you'd put in 4-1 in both boxes. In this blank area, you right-click, wait for GoTo to come alive, and then put in a few seconds before 10 o'clock. 9:59:50. 10 seconds before 10 o'clock. Okay it. Put your chart on the instrument you're trading. We already did that. It's the ES, right? And load your strategy. We're going to play back our strategy. So maybe we had a breakout. Maybe we had a breakout for the ES. It was at 10 o'clock, right? So it would have been 9:59:59. Maybe we had a 10-tick bracket. We had one position for position 1, one contract, a contract for position 2. We had a 20-tick target and a 40-tick target. And maybe we had a 25-tick stop. All right? So we had a breakout. We're testing it this morning. I label every trade. ES breakout. All right? It's in Sim. Apply it. Okay it. Where is it? I have to tell it. We're using the breakout, the playback, sorry. Our breakout gets highlighted, and we tell it we're using the playback account so we can enable the trade. Right now it's on Sim because that's what we were doing before. We want to choose playback, apply it, and okay it. And now I can turn on the trade. There's my trade enabled. All I have to do to play it back is press play on this control panel. Now, NinjaTrader has a wacky little bug. Sometimes it makes me put the time of the trade in again. It is what it is. Remember, I put in 9:59:59, 10 seconds before 10 o'clock. If it makes me do it twice, I just do it. It's worth it if it made me do it 5 times. You wait a second for the data to load. Make sure you turn on your trade. Now, when I press play, it's like it's a tape recorder. NinjaTrader is playing back. I know it's working because the ask and bid have real numbers. It's real data that's being used, the data we downloaded. Now, I put the time on a little bit wrong. It's 30 seconds away. That was my mistake. I could stop it and just update the time. 9:59:55. So it's only 5 seconds. All right, that was my mistake. No big deal. If you make a mistake, just fix it. Not the end of the world, right? Playback is chosen. Now, in 3 seconds, our brackets are going to show up. There they are. We're playing back the trade. 10 o'clock. There really wasn't a very meaningful move. You can speed up your playback, right? Can speed it up. Eventually, the ES did move up 2 minutes after the news. 2 minutes because the news was at 10. If you close out your trade, you could now measure and create a spike sheet. How do we measure? Pencil, ruler. Remember what we said on a 1-minute chart? The candle after 10 o'clock is our measure. Price is going up, so we'll probably be smart to start from the bottom of the candle. And we had a 19-tick candle. So we actually had a trap trade this morning, and it was bigger than 20, and it didn't fill. And it makes total sense. Didn't fill because our tier was too big. So it was only a 19-tick move, not very big, but that's how you test and design your own trades. It's easy. It's easy. You can do it. You can do this stuff. All right? So look, everybody, here is the deal. Let me explain something. I just want to turn off my playback so it's not in the way. Here's the deal. For 3 days, I've shown you that we have some awesome ways to trade. We've had some great winners. And I would be the first person to always tell you the honest truth. No system is a winner every day. Sometimes you take a bad scalp. It is what it is, but we've had tons of winning trades this week. Every day the market opens, earnings season is not over yet. News releases every day. For 3 days, I've shown you that we have some awesome ways to trade. You can join with us and spend all of our news trade rooms, our earnings trade rooms, our magnet trade rooms with us. Magnet 2.0, we released it last month. Absolutely, members love it. It's a safer way to trade news. You're not trading the spike in these markets. Sometimes the spike is too difficult. Also, some prop companies don't let you trade spikes. The ones that we use do. Bullinox lets us trade spikes. Lucid lets us trade spikes. But every trade should not be a spike. That's why the magnet is so fantastic. It's a safer way to trade news. It's got new improved automation and targeting, right? You can press the button, make it purple, and every magnet trade is automatic. You can target all your pivots, and we have our signal system. You know you can trade market opens. I could show you 30 different market opens that have worked. Can you trade news? I've shown you quite a few news trades that have worked beautifully. I've shown you our members winning screenshots, just trading micros. Over $100 on micros is a very nice trade. One of our members made over $1,000 trading Caterpillar last quarter. All right. That's an awesome trade. This is not a rarity. It happens all the time. Members make money and people are getting payouts in their prop accounts, trading with us. They are. People are succeeding. We're giving you tools to help you to trade these markets. The price for our pro membership is $197 a month for everything. So we made a special deal if you'd like to join us in all of our coming trade rooms. I really believe that it takes more than a week to learn any system. And this system, I would take a minimum of 30 days to learn it so you don't have to rush. So I wanted to create an offer that highlights not rushing, learning at the proper speed, and not being so expensive that you can't afford it. You'll get all our software, every strategy, news trader, breakout, range trade, trap trade, reversal, continuation, magnets, everything. You get all our daily market mover reports. You get to come in the trade room anytime you want, all week, trap trade software, everything. We help you and show you how to do it in a prop account. We have people that offer extra help that are extra helpful in the room who know more than me. I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. We have a fantastic community. We explain what our family money trades are, when to do discretionary, when to do automatic, range trades, oil reports, job reports. I will guide you step by step in all of our rooms. You get all of our software, all of our strategies, all of our reports, every single room. Remember, our membership is $197 a month. Well, this open house sale, $247 for 3 months. If you think that that is not a reasonable price, then I'm never going to win you over, ever. Never. It's incredibly reasonable to spend 3 months with us and get everything that we offer for 3 months. Share everything with all of our members. Every setup that we use, we will walk you through in the trade room so you don't have to rush. The link I'm posting in the chat, you don't have to rush. 3 months is a perfect amount of time to learn any system. It's more than enough, honestly. We should charge $247 for 2 months. It's still a great deal because it would be $400 for 2 months. Our members love us. They're making money. Roz from Kenya made $530 on an earnings trade. Members are sending us screenshots, honestly, all the time, every day, every single day. I got a screenshot from Nitin, who happens to be one of our best traders. Langford, also one of our best traders, made $276 on Caterpillar this week. That's a nice trade. He didn't have to spend more than 30 minutes on that trade. That is awesome. So folks, 3 months for $247. This deal is going to expire Sunday at midnight. We care about you. We want you to succeed. We're going to spend the time in the trade room teaching you everything. If you have questions, email us, help@10minutetrades.com. If you want our schedule, go to www.10minutetrades.com. All right, for the free schedule. If you're already a member, we'll add this time to your current membership. No problem. So you get a good deal if you want to take advantage of it. $247 for 3 months. Earnings season lasts 3 months. Enjoy all the trade rooms, all the events, everything. But here's the best part. We'll take all the risk. I guarantee I'll help you from today until we reach the moon. No joke. I'll do anything to help you. But we also have a 3-month money-back action guarantee. Spend 3 months working with us, trading live in the trade room, just 3 trade rooms per week over the next 3 months. Keep a journal of your trades. If you don't love our program, by the end of 3 months, show us the proof, show us your journal, send us the journal with your trades, prop, sim, or cash. You don't have to use real money, and we'll send you a full refund. Just do the work. Make it work. Give it a try. Where do you get Ninja Trader? Ninja Trader they have a free version, www.ninjatrader. You can get their platform. They do have paid versions that are a little bit cheaper in terms of order placement. The cost of trading is a little bit cheaper when you pay. All right. This is not options and stock trading. This is futures trading. All right. Don't forget, if you need help, reach us, help@10minutetrades.com. How do you get coaching and support? 3 ways. Live by me in the trade room. We're there roughly up to 10 hours a week, probably easily. Other members in the trade room are always willing to help. Email us, help@10minutetrades.com. What if you have trouble installing the software? Step-by-step videos are available. I'll walk you through it one-on-one in the trade room, though. We ask, let's do it in the trade room so other people can benefit by watching. If you need help after installing it, well, that's why we included 3 months of everything. I have the wrong software. I'm sorry. The wrong file. It's 3 months. How do you cancel your subscription? All you have to do, we have one rule only. Cancel before you're billed. That's all we're asking. It costs us money, believe it or not, to refund, but it costs us no money to cancel. But when you let it bill, you have to cancel before it bills. That's our only rule. And all you have to do is send an email, help@10minutetrades.com. Send an email before your billing period. That's it. No looking up phone numbers, no leaving messages. Just send an email. We will answer the email, I promise. Help@10minutetrades.com. Just do it before the billing, all right? Everything's included, a full pro membership, but this offer expires Sunday at midnight. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It was long. Any questions? We covered a lot. You know what? Oscar is asking a great question. I don't use Ninja Trader. Can I subscribe for 1 month? So Oscar, I'll make you an offer. Send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com, and I'll send you a fair deal to spend a month with us. And that's a great idea also. Why? Because if you don't use Ninja, number one, if you spend a month with us, you might love it so much that you'll decide to get a prop account. Remember, you can rent a prop account for $20 a month, and you have Ninja. That's all you need. So don't forget, it's only $20 a month to rent a prop account, so you could use Ninja. But if you don't want to go through the whole deal of learning Ninja, just send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com, and I'll set something up for a month, okay? I'll give you our old price, all right? I'll give you our old price is basically what I'm going to do. It's a fair deal, I promise. Folks, that's the only question I'm seeing. I want to thank everybody. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I'll see everybody in the trade room Monday. We're going to have a great week next week. Always, the most important thing I could ever say, forgive yourself if you make a bad trade. Forgive yourself if you make a mistake, and enjoy all the winners, because life is short. Life is beautiful. I'll tell you something. Every day that I'm alive teaching in the trade room is a day that I'm enjoying my life and myself. And I love teaching. I love my kids. I love my family. And I love trading. And I'll see everybody next week. So I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care, everyone.